I need you to keep your job forever. A lot of people wanted me to make a follow-up video in order to really express why you shouldn't quit your job. So I need to explain why you shouldn't quit your job. Everybody keeps talking about quitting your job. I don't need this place. I'll reset my life right now. This is ridiculous. You can just dramatically walk out the door. Bam, you know what? I'm gonna start my new life. This is amazing. And magically, they'll land somewhere better next week. But the reality of the job market right now is nothing like that. Discovering the entire city outside is boarded up. Nobody's hiring. Hiring freezes are spreading quietly through industries. Companies whisper saying, well, we don't know about the global conflict and the economic risks, and the labor market is having a hard. It's uncertain. We're all uncertain. Everything is going bad. Openings only exist on LinkedIn and paper, and they will make you go through 30 interview processes to get nothing, and they vanish the moment people start applying. Amazon's not hiring. Do you know how crazy of a sentence I just said? Amazon is not hiring. A huge number of businesses are sitting still, watching the economy and waiting for signals before committing to new employees, which means that leaving a stable job right now carries the exact same energy as if you said, I'm driving right now. Man, what if I jump out the car? Yeah, I'm gonna jump out the car. The math is very simple and very brutal. A paycheck you have is worth more than a promise you don't. That's it. That's the whole thing. This fantasy of walking out with middle fingers raised in the air, head held high, is not gonna work with rent, groceries, and then that slow realization that the world outside has become far less interested in taking chances on people than it was a year ago, 2 years ago. We're in war right now, dude. Don't quit your job, please. And what people also aren't realizing is this slow takeover of the gig economy. Do you know? I cannot tell you how. I'm gonna list all the ones I know off of my head. ShiftSmart, Instamart, Instacart. That's two different things, by the way. There is also DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, Postmates, and those are just regular ones. There are still so many other ones. There's Rover, where you can watch animals, and you don't have to go through an interview process. You can sign up on your phone and just do this. The gig economy has been taking over every corner of the workforce. There was a time where I was unemployed. I was fun employed. I got promoted to a customer. So fun. And I was going through a hiring agency called RenHill. RenHill said, well, have you tried DoorDash? Have you tried Uber? Because Walmart isn't hiring right now. I said, yeah, but they don't have healthcare or health benefits. And they said, yeah, they don't, but it's a job. It's a job. You know the benefit, the beauty of having a job? It was the fact that I got healthcare and dental and 401k and all these other stuff, and now I don't get nothing. Companies discovered they can replace traditional jobs with an endless rotation of contractors driving cars and tapping apps. Want to know why that's so efficient and important? Let's say Walmart's having a big issue because they don't want to give healthcare to all their employees. So they hire a guy in order to work nights, but they don't really hire him. They hire him through an app. Instawork app. Let's call it Instawork. And this is a real app, by the way. There's a real app you can actually do this at, where you don't work, you choose your hours. You have freedom to choose your hours. And they pitch it to you and they say, well, you have the freedom to pick your hours, but you don't get any health benefits. Period. You get nothing. So millions of workers now survive on platforms such as Uber, DoorDash, and Instacart while chasing algorithm-assigned tasks instead of holding stale positions with benefits and job security. Estimates show that at least 42 Americans participate in some form of gig work, meaning a massive chunk of labor force now lives inside this unpredictable system of digital piecework. I don't know what this structure is, but the gig economy keeps selling you this idea of freedom, the freedom of choosing your own hours and having your own thing and being your own boss. No, that's ridiculous. That's not what's happening. Freedom from the boss becomes freedom from stability. Freedom from the schedule will become freedom from knowing what next week is going to look like. But you like that chaotic nature of your life because this news cycle, the world, the way the administration is run, is training you to love instant chaos. And you love chaos because it feels as though you have control over that chaos, because chaos is the only thing you feel like you have some ability to control. And so you look for that chaos over and over again. You're Shadow the Hedgehog. Chaos control. You are not the ultimate life form. You do not have an arch nemesis. Your arch nemesis is you. Sonic is not eating eating chili dogs right now. You gotta do better. I keep bringing up the Amazon Flex app, but it is really important to talk about the Amazon Flex app because Amazon has really good benefits. Amazon has some of the best benefits I've ever seen in any company. But the fact that they're not hiring and relying strictly on the Amazon Flex app is really, really horrifying. I mean this. A lot of companies are switching over to this mindset and this rhetoric because it saves them so much money. They drive their own vehicles, wasting all their gas, ruining their cars, short delivery blocks. They could hire, I don't know, thousands of full-time drivers, benefits, company cars, and all this stuff, but they're relying on you because you're so desperate for a job. A lot of people do not realize how much of the modern economy now runs through these quiet little apps. These interfaces that are just human labor. You ever see that thing where it says same day delivery and you could get it within 4 hours? That's because they have a machine grab the item in the warehouse, in the, oh my god, the fulfillment center, right? The Amazon fulfillment center, and they have a little machine go grab the item, right? And then they have some random dude named Steven in a 1999 Buick Century. That's the last century. Anyways, 1999 Buick Century, and he's driving around with all these packages, no benefits, and he's excited because in that block he gets paid $125. And you may be saying to yourself, well, $125 for 5 hours, that's pretty good. No, it's not. It's the worst thing I've ever heard, and it's bad. And tech companies are having a horrifying time right now because if you layer artificial intelligence on top of that, they have all these AI that can code. So all these people that spend all their time working and building all these models are saying, well, I got my job replaced by AI. So you know what they do? They make AI slop online to confuse you because those people that worked on the AI stuff and worked in technology, they're now pushing AI stuff. So they make bots in order to farm engagement. And those bots are farming engagement and their bots arguing with other bots. So they make more bots and you're arguing with bots. Companies now experiment with AI systems that automate tasks that used to require so many different teams. Firms exploring generative AI have already begun reducing spending on outsourced labor as automation tools become cheaper and faster. This is bad. This is bad. It's so bad. It's moving into customer support, coding assistance, writing tasks, administrative workflows, executive decisions over and over again. And people watching their work, watching this unfold, and it's a strange pressure building up. And I'd like to provide a little story if I could. I used to work at a place called Buckeye Cable System in Toledo, Ohio. It's based out of Rossford, Ohio, which is about 20 minutes from Toledo. So what happened recently is that they fired 2 whole departments. First, they were outsourcing to the guys in India and Quebec. I believe the place is called Quebec. That's my guess because that's what I kept hearing, and that's the location. If I'm incorrect, somebody correct me. But they outsourced to some place in India. And then Indian dudes start complaining because the Indian dudes got replaced by an automated AI. And if you call Buckeye Cable System, they used to pride themselves on being local and hiring local, and it was a local company that made sure people were local and it was 24/7. Now, 90% of the calls are AI. 90% of the calls are AI or they're outsourced. There's basically nobody that is regular there if you call after 6 o'clock. It's crazy. Then there's the entire geopolitical climate. That's just a whole nother layer of people hiring. They're not hiring. War, that scares investors. Supply chains become unpredictable. Companies freeze hiring until, that horizon looks a little bit clearer. Businesses are not going to expand aggressively when global conflict dominates headlines because guess what? You messed up. So inadvertently, Donald Trump has caused the decimation of the entire job work culture by this war with Iran. That is bad. Even rumors about larger military escalation shock the economy. And that's the bad thing about it. So you know how, I believe it was Pam Bondi was saying the Dow is at 50,000? Pretty sure the Dow is below 48,000 as I'm making this video. So that's bad. Someone look up the Dow right now. I'm only posting the statistics that they're at right now when I'm making this video, but somebody post where they're at right now. Someone tells me. The labor market has frozen in place. Those job postings, they don't exist. They're all fake. They're completely fake. As a matter of fact, most job postings right now, and I used to do this when I used to work at HR, I would post a fake job to gather information on people. Now, why would I do that? Why would I do that? Why would I do a thing. Well, you post a ghost job, right? It's called a ghost job. You post a fake job, and you enter all your information, social security card, all that stuff, and then we would just take your information. That's it. We would just take your information. We'd have that as a potential thing and see if you got any parking violations, all this other stuff. That's what's happening. That's the reality of the world. That's what I used to do for work like 6 years ago. That's what happened. I don't know what to tell you. That's the reality of the world. That's illegal. Oh no. Who cares? I don't know what to tell you. You can't do that. Hire a lawyer. Are you stupid? Every time I mention something illegal, someone in the comments always says, you should hire a lawyer and do that. Are you dumb? Are you actually stupid? Do that. Go ahead, hire a lawyer. Take your time. Have a fun time having a lawyer do that. Go ahead. Take your time. Watch the court fees and how much it costs to actually hire a lawyer. Take your time. I'm here for you. Take your time. I want you to take a step back and look at all the incentives shaping policy and economics at the exact same time. Notice how the government is pouring enormous resources into artificial intelligence development, and they're trying to get all these deals with OpenAI and stuff like that, military technology, and these surveillance systems, while the workforce shrinking is happening at the same exact time. Rising automation is happening. Immigration enforcement agencies advertise huge hiring bonuses, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars. Other sectors quietly reduce headcounts and replace workers with software. The contrast between those two things, between regular labor jobs are going away, but immigration is higher. Why is that? Why is that? Strange, isn't it? The contrast produces a strange feeling that certain institutions always find money for expansions, while ordinary unemployment becomes more fragile. It's as if they want to weaponize us. They want people to be more militant. They want the regular common person who's at their wits' end to have guns and join ICE and control immigration, because maybe they're more willing to do the jobs that nobody else wants to do. The same government that pours billions into weapon systems cannot seem to find the funding for social programs that would catch workers displaced by the very technology it funds. Strange. Also, I'd like to point out, I'm not telling you to actually work harder. I don't actually. I want you to work less. I want you to work bare minimum on top of all this, because companies hate firing people because they can't fire people. It costs an absurd amount of money. See, studies show that replacing a single employee can cost between half and 4 times that worker's annual salary. Once recruiting, trading, and lost productivity enter the equation, it's going to be bad. Training alone can cost hundreds or even thousands of dollars per employee, depending on the role and the hours required to prepare someone for the job. See, from a purely financial standpoint, keeping a worker who already understands the system often makes more sense than starting from scratch. And then there's this thing. It's really fun. This is super cool. And this is the issue I was having when I was working at a hiring agency. Newer workers are significantly lazier than workers that are already there. The corporation that seems indifferent to your existence has already calculated that your departure would be way worse than the cost of finding someone else. So you're actually goofed, you're gravy, you're golden, you're the golden goose, you're grooving, you're fine. Much like the contradictory nature of America and the contradictory nature of humans, we are in this strange, I'll say, odd headspace for how we operate. Because this is how it works. Companies complain about productivity. Oh, productivity's so down. They're also clinging to the workers they already trained, because losing them would suck financially. So the same executives who lecture about, guys, we're a team, get this pizza party, here comes some efficiency, and we gotta care, they know that replacing you who would be so much worse. So the smartest move is to keep the job, protect your income, watch the economy, don't do a dramatic exit, don't do that, be boring, make a cautious choice. The choice that looks like a little bit of cowardice, but I'm pretty sure you don't want to miss that rent payment, right? You need to do that. The people who walk out with coffee cups and say, I'm finding a better job, they're going to go to gig works. They're going to ruin the economy doing that. They're not going to have health benefits same as you. I don't have health benefits, actually. I don't have insurance, to be quite honest with you. It's pretty bad. I gotta pay $400 every time I go to get a checkup. It's not good for me. But please don't quit. Please don't quit your job. And those are the reasons why. That's all I got here. I have nothing else to add. Hope you have a lovely day or night wherever you're at. I'm out. Peace. Bye.
I'm your Nick and Night, be my Laurel, please, low. Ooh, happy to try what you need. Your world, I love to live in it. Ooh, I love the ride.